89% of adults experience stress during the holiday season. 41% or so report higher stress levels during the holiday season over any other time of the year. As co-parents, this brings another layer into our relationship, the holiday seasons. So today I am going to talk to you about how to navigate the holiday co-parenting without losing your cool. If you don't know me, I am Dr. Jerry Johnson. I am the creator of Common Sense Co-Parenting. Welcome to my podcast. And I am here to assist parents and empower them to navigate the complexities of co-parenting with clarity, compassion, and collaboration, ensuring a nurturing environment that centers on the well-being of the child. Welcome to this episode. And if you like anything in this episode today, please be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for the next episodes that I will have. So today I'm going to circle back to our topic. It's going to be co-parenting during the holidays without losing your cool. As in all of the other episodes that I have done single by myself, our first episode usually is going to be with strategies. I'm going to talk about some strategies for how we can co-parent through the holidays without losing our cool. In our next episode, I will talk about some actions that go along with those strategies, some things that you can put into play to help you achieve the strategies that you're trying to do. So today we're going to have 3 strategies that I'm going to walk through for co-parenting through the holidays without losing your cool. And I figured I would do this episode by myself because once again, I'm going to say it again. This is my opinion and these are things that I have done and tried. And I've also experienced other people trying in their co-parenting situations that seem to actually help them out during the holidays. After these 2 episodes, which next Friday, I will be sure to put a link in the comments to the Calm Holiday Co-Parenting Planning template that I have created for you. And I'm doing this a little bit early before the holidays because this is the time to be planning. Actually, if you haven't started before now, which it would have been a good idea probably too, especially depending on the age and the activities that your children do over the holidays because they're out of school. Okay, and that brings another layer to it of the planning. But if you haven't started before now, hopefully that planning template will help you and you will be able to download it and use it as long as you put in your name and email address for me to be able to contact you if I have other resources that you're going to be using. Now, I will start giving more resources out for people to use. So be sure that you always check the description box to see if there is a link there for you to access anything that I refer to in the podcast. All right. So I noticed that a lot of people, the discussion is good. But just like with teaching children, we all need something to kind of further that to help us implement the actions that I talk about or the strategies that I talk about. So I want to start giving you resources to be able to do that. All right. So let's hop into the strategies that you can use to have a calm holiday season with your co-parenting. Excuse the nails, like today is Halloween. Happy Halloween, everybody. If you celebrate Halloween, I am going to a party. So this goes along with my my costume that I haven't been to a Halloween party, guys, in forever. But my costume, it goes with my costume. I may post a picture. We'll see. But let's hop into these strategies. I have 3 strategies for you today for co-parenting through the holidays without losing your cool. So the first strategy, remember the strategy is our framework that we work within, our ideas that we work within that we want to accomplish. And then our actions help us accomplish our strategies. So our strategies are going to set up the framework for what we want to do with our co-parenting relationship during the holidays. So number one is to start with the child's experience. What do you want? And you need to ask your question because we're going to give you actions in the next session. So, what do you want your child's experience to be like over these holidays? The stress that comes along with it, any memories that you have as a child, all of these things that go on during the holidays or that have gone on that affect how we approach the holidays, we pass on to our children. So, for example, and this is a negative example, but if you've had someone pass away over the holidays that was very close to you, then the holidays may bring you a very somber, response, or it may not be very festive for you. But for your children or your child, what do you want their experience of the holiday season to be like? So you and your co-parent need to discuss, if you have a co-parent that you can discuss this with, what do we want the experience for our child to be like? And even if you're doing this by yourself in your own home, because there are two separate homes, that's okay. What do you want the experience to be like in your own home? I used to make sure that I decorate it for the holidays. If you are not a person that celebrates Christmas, but you celebrate Hanukkah, or you may celebrate any other holiday around December, then you can decorate for the holidays. I used to, because I was a teacher in a classroom with kids, I would wear my Christmas earrings or my lighted necklace or my my Christmas headband or something like that, even around the house, not just when I went to school, if we were doing a party or something like that. I used to play Christmas music, like the R&B Christmas music or the old school, Christmas, Motown Christmas and things like that. I mean, during the holiday season, once December hit, actually end of November, I would start playing Christmas music and my daughter would be like, oh my God, I know I'm about to hear this for the next 30, 45 days. But I love Christmas music and I love to have a playlist of Christmas music. So that created a certain experience for my daughter around the holidays when she was with me, and then she had different things going on over at her dad's house. But she always knew, like it became, and this will be, in our strategies, it became like a tradition that she knew mom was going to be playing Christmas music, and I still love Christmas music to this day. So I started with, in thinking about that, what do I want her to experience around the holidays? I made sure that we participated in things going on at church. They always had this basket raffle at the church that we went to. They had a bunch of baskets that you could bid on, and I'll allow her to go through and, pick out a few to bid on and cast her little bid and all that type of stuff. And we would see if we would win some baskets. We participated in as many church things as we could for the holidays. We always, like decorated certain things and things like that. And I'll talk about that in a second. But I wanted her experience to be very positive around the holidays, no matter what holiday she was celebrating. I just wanted it to be festive and I wanted it to be joyful for her. So I started with the experience that I wanted her to have. No matter what was going on with me, I tried my best, even if I was in a funk, to bring myself out of that for the holidays. So that's number one. Start with what you want your child's experience to be with the holiday season. And if it's not celebrating the holidays, that's okay too. Because, especially nowadays, there's nothing wrong because it's getting expensive. Okay. And if there's things that you need to cut out, I will put this in my resource that I'm going to provide to you for free as well. I'll put ideas in there of the ways that I ended up cutting down on the cost of these holidays because most of the time our kids don't need nothing. They have the things that they actually need. What they want, we shouldn't put ourselves in debt for. We shouldn't put ourselves in a bad way to try to get the things that they want when we have provided the things that they actually need. And they don't need 10 or 20 different gifts. They can have 3 and be perfectly fine. So put a cap on, the money that you spend and think about the experiences that you can give them, the things other than things. Okay. Experience over things. All right. So number 1 would start with the child's experience. What do you want it to look like? Number 2, you need to communicate with your co-parent early and communicate clearly because over the holidays, our children are out of school a lot. From the time they hit November through December, they are out of school a lot. So if your co-parenting plan consists of, drop off and pick up at school like mine did, you need to communicate what's going to happen when they're not going to school. What days are we going to keep the days consistent? If so, then who's going to pick up where? Who's going to drop off where? How are we going to do this? Are they going to go to dad's house for Christmas Eve and your house for Christmas? Are they going to spend New Year's Eve with one parent and then New Year's Day with another, or New Year's Eve and New Year's Day with one parent? Are they going to go to Thanksgiving for morning breakfast with mom's family and then dinner with dad's family? How are we doing? Are we going shopping on Black Friday? Are they going with me? Are they going with you? Like, all of these things need to be thought out and they need to be communicated what the expectations are for these days, not only with your co-parent, but with your child. Hey, this is the calendar that we have. These are the days you're going to be with dad. Those are in blue. These are the days you're going to be with me. Those are in red. I'm talking for the tiny humans. They can look at colors or what have you instead of names on a calendar. Post it somewhere so they can see it every day. And they can know, and it will be expected, and it will be routine, and it will not be a surprise where they're going to be for the holidays, who they're going to be with, and what they're going to be doing. If you are traveling for the holidays, my family used to take, when the kids got old enough, we used to take family trips over the holidays in lieu of gifts. Okay. So we would take family trips. My daughter would be with me on the family trip. And then when we got back, she would spend more time with her dad because I took some of his time. Okay. But that was communicated a month or 2 earlier when I was planning the trip, just to make sure that he knew, well, she may not see you on Christmas or Christmas Eve because she'll be with me the whole week. Can she be with you, the week of New Year's Eve? That gives the other person time to plan their time with whoever they're with or whatever it is they're doing with their own family. And it gives you guys a clear view of this is what's going to happen and this is the expectation. It gives the child some foundation and stability in knowing where they're going to be and not being dropped off or doing things at the last minute. When you do that to your child, think about how it feels for you for things to happen at the last minute. With them, let's time that by about 100. Yeah, that's how strongly they feel about last minute changes. And if we are not communicating with them, we're not communicating with them why the changes are happening, or, if it is last minute, things happen. But if we're not communicating with them about why it happens and you just want them to take it and just do it and they should be okay, no, that's not the case. It's not the case. Think about when somebody cancels some on you last minute. Or think about when someone drops work on you last minute. Do you let that go easily? I know I don't. So when we do that to children, think about they don't have the coping mechanisms that we do. They don't have the coping strategies that we do unless we teach them that. And we teach them the coping mechanisms and strategies by actually communicating with them. The why. Why did this happen? Because most of the time, anything that happens, they are going to internalize it as it was their fault. It was on them. It was because of them. No matter if you know that it's not their fault if their dad or their mom flakes on them. That's not their fault. But they internalize it as that. Like they don't want to see me or they don't want to spend time with me. It's because of me. Children do that. And they take a lot on themselves when we don't communicate with them. And we just let it go thinking, oh, they're resilient. They can take it. Yes, they are resilient just like you are. Just like you are. But you still pop off, get upset, cuss, get mad. If somebody does that to you at the last minute or, don't want to see you or didn't follow through on something they said they were going to do at the last minute, your child feels the same way times 100. So when I say communicate clearly and early, that's what I mean. And early is not a day or two before, okay? Early, in my opinion, and from what I've seen with children, is you should be communicating with them about these holidays at least 2 to 4 weeks before they come up. Start the communication about what we're going to be doing over Thanksgiving. What are we going to be doing over Christmas? Even if you have a preliminary plan that may change, that's okay. Show it to them on the calendar. This is probably what's going to happen, but it may change. A couple of days may change, and I will let you know if it does. Do that for them. Show it to them. So it's no surprises. Even if a couple of days change, they are thankful that they at least know. Oh, we got a plan. Like, I got some stability. I got some safety in this. I know where I'm going to be and with who. Okay? So, strategy number 2, communicate early and communicate clearly, especially with your co-parent. Work it out. Work it out. This year, this is the plan. For example, if I had my daughter Christmas Eve this year, her father had her on Christmas, I drop her off Christmas morning. We would have our Christmas on Christmas Eve. Next year, it would flip-flop as long as it worked for our schedules. If it needed to stay the same, that was fine too. But we would make sure that we communicated with her and showed her on the calendar what these holidays are going to look like. And if I was going to be out of town most of Christmas for a family trip, then I would make sure Thanksgiving, she was with him most of Thanksgiving, and I would make sure she would see him when we got back from our Christmas trip. So at least she could have some type of Christmas with her dad. Number two, communicate early and clearly. I'll give you some actions for that next week. All right. Now let's go on to number three. This one spills over from some of the things that I just said. Create shared traditions, even if you are apart. If you are in the house and you're co-parenting, you're married, you're engaged, what have you, living together, it's easy to create the shared traditions, okay? But if you are living apart in two separate places, you're divorced, situationship, whatever, it's difficult sometimes to create shared traditions, especially if you don't communicate what your traditions are to your co-parent. So communicating clearly and early, that spans across. Thinking about your child's experience goes into this too. So my ex-husband and I had traditions, different traditions at each house, but they were kind of similar. Like my daughter and I always decorated a gingerbread house together or decorated cookies or decorate, we were always decorating or cooking something for Christmas. Whether she was with me on Christmas or whether she was with me on Christmas Eve, I would make plans to make sure that we did some of these traditions before she went to her dad's house on Christmas, right? And if she was with me on Christmas Eve, but she wasn't with me on Christmas, we would open up gifts on Christmas Eve. And then, I would take her to her dad's house to open up the gifts. That's if we weren't on a family trip. Now, her dad had certain traditions at his house that they would do, around Christmas. I don't know all of them. I don't. But I do know that she has talked about, the things that they would do. And one of them definitely was watching Christmas, like movies or cartoons or something like that. They would definitely do that. We would do that at my house too. But I know that they would definitely do that. And typically her dad would be hosting, people. I didn't host a whole lot of people for the holidays. We would typically go over to my family's house or we would be on a family trip with them. So we wouldn't have to do all of that. And that was a tradition that my family had, that each child only got three gifts. Each grandchild only got three gifts from the parents. And then if we were in town and not on a family trip, and then the grandparents and whoever else could buy as many gifts for the grandchildren as they wanted to. But my sister and I were bent on, especially as the kids got older, gifts get more expensive. You get three gifts. That's it. Okay. So that's a way that we ended up creating some traditions within my family and within my co-parenting situation. I don't know that my ex-husband knew about our traditions, but he did know about the family trips because it was one family trip. It was one or two family trips that my ex-husband went and I did it. So well, it was either him by himself or he and his wife. So, that was one tradition that he absolutely knew that we had. And I think he knew about the decorating stuff and cooking things too. But create some shared traditions for your child to, maybe they want to, as they get older, they want to create their own traditions. And if they ever get married or have children, they'll have those traditions with their children, you know? And my sister, this is one other thing. My sister she always bakes. Like she always bakes something. So she always would bake something for the holidays. And I was the drinks person. So listen, I think in another life I must have been a bartender or something, but yeah, I was more so the drinks person. And even though now I cook a lot, and I've cooked a lot for years of my life, around holidays, I just don't want to cook. Like so our tradition became that my sister was typically the one who would cook. I would bring drinks and, all other stuff. But yeah, that just wasn't our thing. And then the tradition also was, this is another thing. Some years we would do, if we were in town, we would do Christmas breakfast instead of Christmas dinner. Because when you have multiple families that have multiple places to go, or maybe people just want to chill for the evening, like, and they don't want to deal with all of that in the evening, we would do Christmas breakfast instead. Last year, everybody was in different places and kids were moving around, but my sister and my brother-in-law had just moved here and I'd been here, and then the kids came from college. And so we decided to do Christmas breakfast or brunch instead of dinner because we were all like, we just want to chill Christmas night, like in our own spaces. But that's kind of a tradition that we've had since the kids went to college because when they were home for the holidays, we just kind of wanted to spend time with the kids, right? Um, so we would make time to, if we did Christmas breakfast, we would make time to we could spend all day with them if we wanted to. We could do brunch and then decide like what do we want to do for dinner, or do we just go to our respective you know housing for the evening or something like that. But let me circle back. The third strategy that I am talking about is creating shared traditions. Even if you are in separate places, you can have traditions for your child. Okay. Now, let me recap the strategies. And I know this episode is a little bit shorter, but in the next episode with the actions for these strategies, it may be a little bit longer. So we had strategy number one, which is start with the child's experience. Like, what do you want your child or children's experience to be around the holidays? What do you want the holiday season to look like for them? Even if you choose that we are not celebrating the holidays per se, we're just going to have, let's just say you just want to go to celebrations with or maybe you have a lot of birthday parties or something like that around the holiday time. You don't have to say we're celebrating Christmas per se. You can say, we're having a celebration season. So, what do you want that experience to look like for them? Do you want to go to church? Do you want to spend time with family? Do you just want to chill at home? Do you want to buy gifts? Do you not want to buy gifts? That is your choice, your experience, your child's experience. Strategy number two, communicate clearly and early. That means like right now, this is the end of October, beginning of November. You should start having these conversations, if you haven't already, about what Thanksgiving looks like. Once you knock out what Thanksgiving looks like, Have the conversation of what does the Christmas holiday look like? It's never too early to talk about these things, even if the plans change. Remember this, even if the plans change, your child is seeing that you have a plan for them. You're thinking about them for the holidays and post that somewhere. What's the plan? Yes, the plan may change, but right now, this is what your dad and I, or this is what your mom and I, this is what we worked out. Give the kids time, or give the kid time to give some feedback. Maybe they got a friend that's having a birthday party. Mom, on this day, I'm gonna be with dad, but so and so is having a birthday party I want to go to. They might have some feedback and some input for you. They should. It's their life too. Okay. Communicate early and clearly is number two. Number three is to create shared traditions, even if you are apart. So think about what you want the traditions to be. What do you want to be consistent around this holiday season for your child? Once again, it may not be that we're celebrating Thanksgiving. A lot of people don't want to celebrate Thanksgiving. You might feel like that's a man-made holiday or what have you. You could be celebrating fall. We have fall festivals at our school. Okay? Fall celebration. Up to you. Okay? No celebration. Up to you. But if your co-parent is celebrating Thanksgiving and you are not, talk about it. Because once again, that goes into the values that we talked about last time. What do you two value about your child's experience around these holidays? Because the question may come up, well, why does dad or mom celebrate Thanksgiving, but you don't? You want to be ready for that conversation. It's just a conversation. It's a conversation. Okay. And you can do it apart. You don't celebrate Christmas, but you celebrate some other religious holiday. You celebrate yours, they celebrate theirs. Why am I celebrating over here this? And then why am I going to mosque over here? Like, have the conversation so they know what's coming up. All right. So these are three strategies. And next week, I'm going to talk about some actions that you can put in place to achieve these strategies. This is just to help parents, co-parents, create a peace-centered holiday plan. I want you to reduce your stress. I want you to reduce the conflict that you have with your co-parent or your other parent. And I want you to be centered on your child's well-being during this holiday season. It's stressful for everybody right now outside of the holidays coming up. However, we can alleviate some of that stress if we have a plan for what it is that is going to happen, and our children know the plan for what it is that is going to happen over the holidays. All right. So, one idea I want to leave you with, a key idea I want to leave you with, is you cannot control your co-parent. You can't control your co-parent, but you can control your plan, your tone, and your preparation for this holiday season. If your co-parent or your other parent doesn't want to plan with you, you plan on your own. What's going to happen in your locus of control, in your home, and with your child? And communicate that with your child. And best believe me, your child is going to end up telling the other parent, oh, we're supposed to be doing this at mom's, or we're supposed to be doing this at dad's, and da, da, da. And the other parent is probably going to say something. But you cannot control your co-parent. The only thing that you can control, your plan, your tone and your preparation for this holiday season. And that goes for any season, really, because we can't control others. So I wanted to leave you with that idea. On the next episode, I will drop in the description for the video the Calm Holiday Co-Parenting Planning template that you will be able to use to get your co-parenting planning for the holiday off and going if you have not already. Hopefully, if you have already, it will enhance and give you some things to think about if you want to go ahead and download that. But I will put it in the description box and remind you on the next episode. I want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight. I hope you have a fantastic Halloween. I'm about to get dressed and I'm gonna be out. So I'm gonna leave you with, if you had anything in this video that you liked, please like and subscribe for the next video coming up and my free holiday co-parenting plan that you are going to be able to download in the description. All right, guys, you guys go out there and be safe tonight and co-parent with a purpose. I'll see you later. Bye.